We have about 30 public comments this evening, sorted by category. And so what we're going to need to do is do the 20-minute limit. And so the individuals that came in first signed up for those categories. And I just wanted to say ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing easy about limiting public comment. There is currently we'll have about 2 hours of public comment right now. After the 2 hours, we will move to the presentation. Tina, thank you so much for your willingness. After that, we will move to the two agenda items, a Merit Academy application, and then, Merit's first, and then Tina's presentation, and then we will go to reports and executive session for about an hour and a half. As Mr. Rusterholz indicated, there will not be any decisions made after executive session. The board will leave at that point for that period of time of executive session. You're, of course, welcome to stay. But planning the evening ahead so that you know kind of what's ahead of you. For a bathroom break, I did bring my peanut butter jelly sandwich for dinner later on. So we have beginning category, and thank you to the ladies that digitized this evening, doing their best. I'm going to ask if your name is not called for public comment. It was done explicitly in the order in which received. I would encourage you to either reach out to a board member via email, to schedule a meeting with the board members, or come and see me. Would welcome those discussions. For the next 2 hours, to extend beyond that would just not allow the board to finish the business items that are yet on the agenda this evening. So trying to be sensitive and also trying to be transparent with our evening. So in the first category, I've got Jean Harris speaking first. If you would come to the microphone, followed by Bill Brown, Kershid Rogers, and Claudia Martin. Those are the four that are on the list for that category. Aaron O'Connell will not be speaking, Kimberly Morris will not be speaking, and Carol Greenstreet will not be speaking this evening. I stand corrected, excuse me. No, that is correct. The topic is board guidance. I understand that. That's the topic that's been categorized by the team in the back. Thank you. Go ahead, sir. Your 5 minutes shall begin.
Okay, my name's Gene Harris. And when I was asked what my topic was, I wasn't really sure because I don't typically come with a set topic. But first of all, I just want to say, Gary, don't grow weary in doing good. You obviously have support of the community or you wouldn't be sitting in that chair. There are vast differences of opinion here tonight, which has resulted in this big crowd. I started going to these school board meetings during the prior board's tenure, and there were maybe 10 people in attendance at the different meetings I went to. So I just want to say thank you all, regardless of which side of the fence you're on, for showing up. I would like to probably speak more to the people in the crowd.
Unfortunately, this is a board meeting.
You need to address the board of directors, please.
Well, thank you, Mr. Rusterholz, for trying to keep some semblance of order tonight. I'm here because I do support the new members of the board. In saying that, that doesn't mean that I don't support teachers or others who are here in opposition to this board. So anyways, thank you for putting up with all of us. and I'll just say the same thing to the rest of you. Don't weary in doing good. You took on a big role. The people in this community voted you in. And so those people expressed their voice at the polls, and this is the board we have. So thank you for doing your jobs.
Thank you for your comments.
So I'm going to be able to add another person to the list for 20 minutes, as that was only 2 minutes and 23 seconds. I'll move forward with Aaron O'Connell will be next after Claudia Martin. But next, I'm sorry if I'm confusing you. I'm just trying to do the best I can with the list that I have. So we've got Bill Brown coming up. Kershid Rogers is on deck after Mr. Brown, followed by Claudia Martin, and then Aaron O'Connell.
Uprightness, the quality of being honest, responsible, and moral. Uprightness has required me to watch and learn who the members of our school board are before I was willing to stand here and make any statements, which I have done through attending candidate forums and monthly board meetings. Uprightness required me to observe your behavior and actions so I can speak in an honest, responsible, and moral way about what I am seeing, even though the board and their supporters have not been upright in how they are treating me and my fellow teachers and staff. You have not taken the time to get to know us, but that has not stopped you. In fact, anyone who has observed, listened to, and read the invective directed at all teachers from this board and its supporters would be led to believe the following: that I am a liberal and teach liberal ideology. This is a term that people who know me would never use to describe me, but by characterizing me this way, it has allowed the board to treat me as if I am the enemy that must be defeated. This board would believe then that I must be a member of the union. That is why I would be opposed to the board. This is not true either. In fact, I have tended to disagree with unions and not join them because of the social stances that they often take. However, I find myself as a conservative wondering if it is time to join the Woodland Park Education Association, because one thing that unions are good at is standing up to bullies. You also might be led to believe that I am a godless anti-Christian. Now, the churches in which I have served as a youth pastor over the course of 30 years would be exceedingly surprised to hear that claim. You would believe that I have never read the Constitution of the United States. I've been coaching speech and debate at Woodland Park High School since 2009. The debaters I have trained to use the Constitution to defend their arguments over the course of that time would be astonished to hear this accusation. You would also believe that I am less than a perfect teacher. Well, on this one, we would agree. I am not a perfect teacher. I have areas that I can become better, more effective, more inspiring. I will say, however, that I believe I am an above average teacher and that I deeply desire to help students learn to think for themselves. Now, where uprightness should lead the board to respond and defend their teaching staff when these lies are told, the resounding silence that exists speaks volumes. Let me be clear. My issue is not with whether Merit receives a charter or not, or if we keep the summit platform. Your campaigns clearly defined your stance on these issues, and people elected you, so be it. But I implore you to do what you were elected to do in an upright manner. Stop being deceitful and disingenuous. Quit making decisions in a manner that is questionable. Refrain from misrepresenting decisions made by previous boards. Cease bullying those who disagree with you. In your own words, you have decided you will not play nice, not just with the union, but with those who are staff in this district. You have created an atmosphere where teachers are demoralized, isolated, and barely holding on. Break away from this pattern. No longer demonize those who teach, but instead get to know us, hear what we have to say, and work with us to make this district the best it can be. Uprightness should push you as an elected leader to look for ways to serve this district. However, you come into our buildings, demand that staff acknowledge your position and the power that goes with it, insisting that schedules be changed, instead of serving the students that are supposed to be the focus of this educational institution. Final thoughts. We have many students who have excelled at Woodland Park High School. And perhaps your research, if you dug into it, would find that these students are all over the world. Many of them would point to the fact that their education here has propelled them forward and enabled them to pursue their passions. Finally, uprightness not only leads me to address the board this evening, but also leads me to realize that this board is not likely to be upright in their response to me. I recognize there will most likely be consequences to my speaking out, but uprightness requires me to do what is honest, responsible, and moral. So let me conclude by saying this. Director Austin, Uprightness also requires me to acknowledge that the things I have said are not directed at you. Thank you for being upright as you sit on this board. Thank you for being on this board to serve, not to be served.
Thank you, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Kirsten Rogers, please. Followed by Ms. Rogers is Ms. Martin, and then Ms. O'Connell.
It's Khurshid, by the way.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. And we sat in a meeting last night for several hours together. I apologize.
It's okay. My name is Khurshid Rogers. I'm a mother of 2 children in the district who are here tonight and an active volunteer in WPSD for many years. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My concern tonight is regarding communications by our school board vice president, David Illingworth. Mr. Illingworth.
Excuse me.
Yes.
I want to hear everything that you have to say, but can you direct it to the entire board
Okay.
rather than just an individual?
I would like to start by saying I am not a combative person. I really strive to be kind and respectful in all areas of my life. I see myself as a connector, and when I speak to you tonight, please trust that I'm speaking from a heartful place. I would also like to be upfront with everyone here and say that I have not reached out to you specifically, Mr. Illingworth, for a personal conversation before speaking tonight, and for that I apologize. That would be my usual mode of operation. But I also need you to know that I have felt very intimidated to do so by your actions, your behavior, and your words. On December 9th, December, not January, of which you spoke about, you wrote an email to our board president, David Ruster-Holtz, quote, "Some ideas for next week's agenda. My idea is that chartering merit should be our immediate priority, but it might be good to move the ball forward on some other things. This is the flood zone tactic, and the idea is that if you advance on many fronts at the same time, then the enemy cannot fortify, defend, or effectively counterattack at any one front. Divide, scatter, conquer," end quote, though the email had more. It's my feeling that you have been fueling a hate machine.
Just to the entire board, not an individual, please. Thank you.
Since December or earlier. The signs you all saw out front today are in response to this sentiment. I wonder, why are you fueling this enemy culture? Who falls under your enemy umbrella? We heard some of that tonight, but this is our staff, this is our admin, these are our WPSD families. This is me, and these are the supporters of our district. We are not the enemy. Why are you saying that? Why are you even feeling that? You ran to support all of us, to represent all of us. And this just tells me that your intention has been to overrun us and to ruin us. In an email you wrote to Dr. Neal on January 29th, and I apologize for paraphrasing for time's sake, you accused our teachers union of instigating warfare, this after your statements I just quoted. You made accusations and insults toward our principals and executives. You spoke about, quote, not begging forgiveness from people who have underperformed, end quote. In the same email, you requested that Dr. Neal, within 1 week's time.
I don't want to stop anybody, but if you could direct it. If you would please direct it to the entire board or to me personally, that I understand, ma'am. I understand.
Okay.
We need to gain.
Please don't take this away from my time, though.
No, I will not take that away from your time at all. Not at all. Thank you.
Okay. Within 1 week's time, provide you and President Ruster-Holtz with a list of quote, positions in which a change in personnel would be beneficial, end quote. Like, wow. And additionally, you suggested our schools are plagued with dysfunction. I will stop, but I encourage everyone to read the full text to ensure I'm not misrepresenting.
1 minute.
Did you make sure she has her time?
I
her
did.
Full time.
I did.
Mr. Illingworth and the entire board. People, our people who work so hard for our kids are hurt, insulted, and fearful. I am hurt and insulted on their behalf, and I am fearful of losing these amazing professionals that I want to be here to teach my kids. People that know me. No, I want to believe the best in people. I believe that somehow you think you're trying to do the right thing. I can't resolve in my mind how this kind of attitude, tone, and verbiage feels right to you. But if this aggression and negativity is what we, your constituents, and your team trigger in you, I request you examine if this board seat is the right position for you, respectfully.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kirsty Rogers. Thank you. Ms. Claudia Martin.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Claudia Martin. I've been a Teller County resident for 38 years, and I've been a teacher in the Woodland Park School District for 29 years, mostly at Columbine, but also at Gateway and the old Woodland Park Junior High. I counted up that over my time here, I have taught slightly over 1,000 students during my time in the district, including one of Mr. Austin's daughters, who went on to become a teacher here in the high school. I was in Philadelphia with my Columbine colleagues in 2000 when we were recognized as one of 6 exemplary schools of character in the nation. And all of our schools in our district have created innovative and unique programs to benefit our students. Gateway was among the first schools in Colorado to include students with significant special needs in mainstream classrooms, and one of those students was my son in 1990. I am proud of my time in Woodland Park School District, and after retiring from Woodland Park School District, I miss children too much to stop teaching. So I've been fortunate to work part-time at an exceptional charter school in Colorado Springs for the past 9 years since its inception. I'm going for the Guinness Book of World Records on longest teaching career. I speak tonight on behalf of 40 retired Woodland Park School District teachers, all of whom have looked at this letter and sent me emails. We are devoted to our careers. We have devoted our careers to the children of this county, and we are committed to having our voices heard. We are concerned about the recent tension between the Board of Education and the teachers in the district. We want to recognize that our teachers are the lifeblood of our school system. Everyone from bus drivers to the superintendent, from food servers to the Board of Education, plays a vital role in our schools and our children's successes. But truly, teachers are in a special category. Being a teacher may be one of the most important professions in our society, but sadly, it's also one of the least valued or understood. As we spend much time with your children and work with you as partners, and we impact your children and our own children in untold ways. Every month I receive messages from former students on Facebook or at the grocery store telling me that I changed their lives in ways that I didn't even know. And all of us receive those accolades, and we deserve them. We give up countless hours of our evenings and weekends for students. We spend our summers taking classes to improve our skills. We spend our own money from our limited salaries on food for children who didn't bring a snack and on items for our classrooms that are beyond our budgets. It is imperative that teachers be represented and valued in school district decision-making. They are the people who do the work. Teachers cannot be viewed as robots who follow a script that they had no part in creating. Every classroom day presents unexpected challenges and opportunities that we teachers as professionals rise to meet on the spot. Teachers dig deep and improvise, like I did on the day I had to tell my class that one of their classmates' mothers died the night before of cancer, and the painful weeks for all of us after that child returned to school. We did not follow the curriculum that week, but the learning was profound. So many of us guided our students through a year when they returned to school just weeks after the Hayman fire burned their houses to the ground. We don't know what every day will bring to our classrooms, but we are masters at negotiating and navigating whatever the surprises are.
1 minute.
Teaching is not a political act. It is an act of love. We do not care or know what our students' parents' political party is. And we are disciplined professionals and do not bring our own politics into our classrooms. What we do know is that those student strengths and needs, what we do know is our student strengths and needs. I encourage you to visit our classrooms and to observe our incredible teachers doing the challenging and professional work they do. Please recognize that students succeed because teachers believe in them. And teachers I need water. Please recognize that students succeed because their teachers believe in them, and teachers will succeed when their employers believe in them and respect the work they do. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Aaron O'Connell, thank you.
This is Owen. He's a 5th grader at Columbine.
What's her name?
Owen.
Owen. Thank you
Yeah.
for coming,
What's your
Owen.
sign say, buddy?
We are not your enemy.
No, you're not.
Okay. First of all, I would like to address your comment that we have more people than ever here. I know from my time on a different board in a different district that a full board meeting is a bad board meeting. So that is not something to be proud of. Second, I would like to address again that I am not against the merit school. I am for school choice. I know a lot of merit parents and students. I respect school choice and people's ability to choose where their children are educated. The things that I have a problem with are our new members of the board with their legal counsel, Brad Miller, and the way they are trying to push through policies and action items so quickly. So again, merit parents and teachers, we are not your enemy. I would like to pose a question on who will take the debt of a charter school that is brought on. I have loan documents from ER BOCES to Merit Academy showing a debt of $275,000 just from ER BOCES. Incidentally, Brad Miller was one of the founders of ER BOCES, and then he was Merit's legal counsel, and now he is Woodland Park's legal counsel and assisting to bring Merit into our district. So I would like anyone to make their own choice as to where the conflict of interest is. So even though this is a Woodland Park and we're at a WPSD school board meeting, the last few months have become the Merit and Brad Miller show. Has had nothing to do with the positive things that are going on in our district.
Aaron, please direct it to the board and not any individual person, unless you want to pick on me.
I will pick on you for hiring Brad Miller as your legal counsel.
Thank you.
There is a document here that shows when Merit Academy changes authorizers, which would be from ER BOCES to Woodland Park, an amount of $150,000 is immediately due. Where are these funds coming from? Who will ultimately be responsible? Is it Merit? It might be, but we don't know. There is no transparency in this decision. There was no discussion with the community on why you're doing this and if it's financially feasible. Are Woodland Park taxpayers expected to take on this debt? This information should be very clearly and explicitly laid out before an outside school is offered a contract, any school. Gary Brevetto and
Aaron.
the rest of the board.
No personal attacks, please.
I heard
Direct
you
your
say-
comments to the board only.
I heard a member of your board earlier this evening, who shall remain nameless, that he feels terrible about what happened during
You
a
know
meeting
what?
at a school.
Listen,
If Illingsworth can get up here and spout off negative, horrific things for 20 minutes, I get my 4. Let me talk. I heard someone say that they felt terrible about what happened. You know what I didn't hear? I'm sorry. And then the other 3 of you, you sat up here and you spout off all these things that you think are great about Gary Brevetto, about his strong character.
I'm going to have to ask you to either refrain from that, and the crowd, please wait till afterwards to clap, please. I'm not want her to stop, but you know what? We can't attack, no personal attacks on people.
Do you know what no one addressed? The student who stood up here, hurt and vulnerable and brave, against someone who said something horrific in her classroom. There was no apology, no acknowledgement of wrong. And what did you teach her tonight with your actions as a board? That speaking out only emboldens the oppressor. How incredibly sad that that was your lesson tonight. I also wanted to thank Chris Austin for being an upstanding member of our community and this board. I listened to these recordings of these meetings over and over. I listened to the rhetoric and the divisiveness. Chris, thank you for representing our actual district and the community members and the staff members and the students who are here. Thank you for representing them with integrity, respect, and thoughtfulness. Thank you for calling out inaccuracies in procedure. Thank you for trying to work with the new board members, which, my God, I cannot imagine. And thank you for acting in a way that shows you understand that we are not the enemy. Thank you. And for the sake of the children in this community, I am asking the new board members to stop spewing hate and divisive rhetoric. I might also ask them to stop rolling their eyes when I'm telling them to not be hateful. Stop threatening teachers and WPEA members. Stop creating a hostile work environment. The staff here deserves better, and so do the students. You talk about not backing down. You treat a volunteer school board position as a call to war. I'm sorry, we're a district of 5 schools. This is not war. Stop treating it like it. But let me tell you about not backing down. And you can avoid my gaze all you want, but I will not back down, and we will not back down.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Connell.
I want to make sure that we get through all of this, and I appreciate the differences that we have in our priorities and our beliefs, but we need to keep order in this room. Would you please refrain from standing up and cheering until maybe the end of each time, please? Can we do that, please?
Next on the
Thank you.
agenda, we have Mr. Kim, followed by Holly Sample and Jonathan Wright. Mr. Kim, the floor is yours, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, Keith McKim. This would be in the topic of praise and encouragement to the board.
Thank you. My name is Keith McKim. I come before you tonight to again thank you, our school board, for the great job that you're doing for our children. It's gratifying to know that across America, your example is setting the standard upon which a new foundation in education will be built. Upon that foundation, a new nation of godly hope for the world will be raised up. Parents are now back in charge of this school. They put you on this school board. The vast majority of the people of RE2 put you guys on this school board. The majority of teachers support you on this school board. I thank you that Summit Learning is now a thing of the past. The ugly, intolerant Marxist CRT will no longer be tolerated. The racist BLM will be flushed back into the sewer system where it belongs. Perverted sex education will creep back into the dark from whence it came. Most of our teachers are lovingly devoted to educating our children, and we thank God for them. All of our teachers are encouraged to meet and confer with the board, offering their input and guidance to policy decisions. Our teachers will lead as the newer, brighter light shines down on American education. The exceptionalism that is America will be taught, and the evils of progressivism will be exposed. A great civilization is destroyed when its people don't know their own history. It's been the goal of the left to destroy, desecrate, lie about, and demolish America's history. The great Roman statesman Cicero once said, "Not to know what happened before you were born is to be a child forever." Will and Ariel Durant, the great American historians, once wrote, "Civilization is not inherited. It has to be learned and earned by each generation anew." If the transmission should be interrupted, civilization would die, and we should be savages again. You, our school board, stand between civilization and savagery. And I thank you for that, and may God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McKim.
Thank you, Ms. McKim. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm doing the best we can on categories this evening. If for some reason we've miscategorized something, please, I beg your forgiveness. I'm just really trying to get as many folks in here as possible. Thank you. We have Jonathan Wright, followed by, we've got Holly Sample, followed by Jonathan Wright. And then we'll take Madeline Randolph for controversial issues policy after that.
Board of Education Directors and Dr. Neal. Hello. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you
I'm
tonight.
sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm here to share my thoughts about school leadership and how our community can move forward together. My name is Holly Sample, and that's my married name. I was Holly George growing up here. I went through elementary school and graduated from high school in Woodland Park, and my mother taught elementary in Woodland Park for 32 years. I was an educator for 34 years before retiring and moving back to Teller County. In my career, I taught art, special education, and business. I served as a curriculum specialist and administrator. From 2006 through 2018, I was the high school principal at a K-12 charter school in Greeley. These are difficult times. Over the last 2 years, everyone has experienced trauma and loss. At these board meetings, I hear a great deal of fear and anger expressed by speakers. The level of acrimony in our community and in our country is a serious problem. Yet I still believe that if we assume good intentions and listen to each other with respect, we can and we must do better. I truly believe that everyone here tonight wants the best possible education for our students. I commend you, Mr. Brevetto, for your desire to understand students' experiences, and I agree with you that the purpose of schooling is to help students develop their full potential. And I appreciate earlier comments and can call upon you to continue to put students at the center of every decision you make. Ask yourself, is this decision or vote going to best serve student learning? Sometimes you'll be pressured to make decisions in the interests of certain taxpayers or teachers or others, and fortunately, the interests of those people often align with student needs. But if they don't, please defer to the students. It's often said that youth are our greatest resource. I don't like that expression because I don't see youth as a resource. They're our future. When it comes to education, our teachers are our greatest resources. If you think back to the teachers you've had, almost everyone can think of a teacher who's had a huge impact on their life. Teaching has never been an easy profession, and it's more difficult now than ever. The world is more complicated than it's ever been. Students need high levels of skill and knowledge and the ability to think deeply about the world around them. Teachers are called upon to be highly skilled professionals who can also support students' emotional health, even when teachers themselves are experiencing the same difficulties and trauma that students and families are going through. So as board members, I urge you to value our teachers as the important resource they are and work collaboratively with them, both as individuals and through their association. Finally, furniture CEO and author Max Dupree once said, "Never forget this thing we call leadership is really serious meddling in other people's lives." Please listen to a wide range of parents, students, taxpayers, and others, formally and deeply, not just at the beginning of these meetings, before making big decisions such as combining school facilities or changing the curriculum. Listening and communicating with people who disagree is difficult, but it's essential if you are to make lasting decisions that result in lasting improvements for our schools. If you would like assistance facilitating and moderating these difficult conversations, we can help. I'm part of a local group of citizens associated with Braver Angels,
1 minute.
a bipartisan movement working to depolarize our divided nation. Braver Angels is not aimed at changing anyone's mind. We're dedicated to unifying our community, mostly by getting small groups of people together with different opinions for structured meetings to develop our abilities to listen to one another and find common ground. Our work is about building civic trust and healing the wounds between left and right. It's about challenging institutions to be better and building community together. I have a flyer for you that I'll leave with you with information about how you can contact us. And I have some extras I'll leave at the back table if there are others who are interested. Thank you.
Could you give it to
Thank you,
Mrs. Kelly,
Kelly.
please?
Thank you, Ms. Sample.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sample. I apologize, Jonathan Wright, if you were going to speak on the topic of merit, I've got that coming up in the agenda in just a minute. You are slated as one of the top 4 earliest folks to sign up for that. So up next, we did Mr. McKim's sample. Madeline Randolph on a controversial issue policy. Are you still in the room? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Madeline Randolph. I'm a sophomore at Woodland Park High School, and I'm extremely passionate about my education. I've been made aware that the school board is looking to soon amend a controversial topics policy that accommodates parents while also protecting teachers. I hope my words can bring light to the fact that the changes to this policy are not right for our students or teachers. The U.S. Constitution does not use the word education a single time, but the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment protects every student's right to an equal education under the law. By allowing parents the choice to pull their children out of lessons, you automatically remove that right from the student in question. Personally, as a student with parents that have strong beliefs and opinions, I know I want the opportunity to form my own, whether I agree or disagree with them. If they were to pull me out of lessons that have the possibility of giving me a new perspective, I would lose any chance of forming my own beliefs. You claim that our parents are your customers, when in fact, your customers are the students and the teachers. Consequently, your primary concern should be our success as a collective. Parents need to be considered, but their opinions should not be the only ones heard. Too many parents today think that what they believe is exactly what their children should believe, and they push their beliefs onto their children at home. School is the first place children gain real exposure to other ideas. Our brains cannot be confined to only our parents' beliefs or that of the school board. It is vital that students whose brains and opinions are not fully developed are given the opportunity to learn about other religions, races, ethnicities, and so on. These aren't controversial topics. This is someone's life. My peers' diverse racial and cultural backgrounds or experiences provide an opportunity for learning and exposure, not a place to create division or create opinions. The Woodland Park School District website states, quote, "Students shall have the traits and life skills necessary for them to become meaningful citizens, as well as students shall gain the academic skills they require to interact and excel in society." I believe that students stripped of the chance to learn about controversial topics won't be prepared to excel in society. All they will know is their parents' beliefs. If the school district truly wants us to form into meaningful citizens, I hope you are able to see that we need to first be given the chance to decide what that means to us as individuals. Public schooling is one of the many options in education for children, and fortunately, parents that don't think their student are receiving a good education have the option to teach their children in a way they best find fit at home. We are lucky to have such wonderful educators in our school, and we need to instill trust in their capabilities. Our teachers went to school to learn how to form meaningful citizens and are fully capable of teaching us controversial topics in an unbiased manner. Therefore, not only do the parents need to trust that, but so does the school board. These teachers care for us in our development and want to see us thrive. My grandpa, the previous mayor of Woodland Park, was adamant about gaining the whole story, everyone's perspective, whether he agreed or not. Our school board needs to do the same. I'm young and still learning. However, quite frankly, despite your age, your collective actions display that not all adults are qualified to advise on our education. I may just be one voice, but I believe I represent that of many. We're tired of being questioned, surveyed, and told our opinions are being heard when in reality they aren't. It is time for the school board to truly take immediate and effective action to impact the people directly affected by the decisions of this board. Woodland Park is already lacking in diversity. We need to welcome culture, not rob our children of it. We may be a small school, but we should not be promoting a small-minded philosophy. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you very much.
Madeline, thank you. Again, I've said this before, whenever a student gets up, it takes a lot of courage, regardless of your political or your emotional side, to stand up in front of a room full of adults, particularly as a sophomore. Thank you for taking the time to prepare that. I really do. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, trying to keep on track here. Claudia Miller, Sharon Langhart on overcrowding within WPSD preschool, and then Katie Larson with the grading system. So Claudia Miller. Sharon Langhart up next, followed by Katie Larson.
Hi, I'm Claudia Miller, and I was a teacher at both up at Summit and at Columbine. And it was a wonderful experience spending time in the district. I've also had the privilege of teaching down in the Springs in the Cheyenne Mountain School District, and also at the Colorado Springs School, which is a private school down by the Broadmoor. And what I wanted to share is, I taught also back in Ohio at Barrington Elementary in the Upper Arlington School, and it's given me an advantage of seeing a variety of school models with varying demographic populations which play a role in their choices of curriculum and delivery. I strongly feel that the demographics in Woodland Park will function better with unification rather than polarization of the two public school programs, which already is causing a lot of tremendous upset in our community. We have a small population in our community, and limiting the potential of interactions of children in learning and negotiating their educational journey together, which includes playground interactions, working together on community projects, fun runs, sports events, clubs, and opportunities is disheartening. Rather than starting from a premise of differences in the two school models, by listening to parents what they want for children, there's a lot of common ground. For instance, in literature, what parent does not want moral character and civic virtues developed by examining societies of the past through the vision of great writers such as C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Mark Twain's Tom Sawyer. Conversely, what parent does not want their child to experience novels with protagonists experiencing the virtues and complexities of our current world to gain skills in negotiating our ever-changing society with reads like Esperanza Rising, The Tale of Winn-Dixie, and the new read, See You in the Cosmos by Jack Chang. We all want foundational knowledge that will aid children with skills needed in society, and we all want critical thinkers so children can solve complex issues they meet in real-world circumstances. We want to develop good citizens in society. We all want methods to teach children using multiple modalities that will engage children and enable them to learn and retain information better. So an enlightened solution. The public school I taught in at Barrington Elementary in Ohio had national acclaim for structuring both traditional methodologies of classical education with contemporary. The curriculum actually combined components of Hirsch's ideologies with Dewey, Gardner, and others to create the best practices in the classroom. The design of this model was created by the collaborative effort of parents, teachers, and administrators working together to examine ways to best meet the needs of individual students. This model allowed parent choices of teachers who taught with a traditional emphasis while others employed a contemporary approach. It balanced beautifully. In our district, I value our teachers and have witnessed their strength as they come from a variety of educational teaching programs with strong pedagogies. Blending these backgrounds with professional development and classroom experience has created strong professionals and what I deem master teachers. I feel they are well equipped to handle aspects of educational reform in our district. The transitions they made with curriculum delivery during the pandemic were phenomenal. I also hold respect for parents in our district who've gone to bat for their children by seeking a program that aligns with their personal ideologies of what education should be for their child and have chosen a model aligned with Hirsch's reform. However, I strongly feel it is in the best interest of our community to slow down the process of polarizing to two schools, and irrespective of facility placement this year, comprise a team of parents, teachers, administrators, and students to engage in a long-term study examining best practices with the possibility of creating a unified public school district, which incorporates the tenets of choice under the same roof. Strong curriculums are negotiated through collaborative minds. It will be well worth the time so that when our students graduate, they will have the broadest educational experiences to draw upon based on our district's vision of creating the good citizen, and one with skill sets, critical thinking, and heightened perspectives to succeed well in our ever-changing society. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've lost track. Who's next? I believe it's Katie Larson, or is it Langhart? Thank you. Sharon Langhart, facilities, overcrowding within WPSD preschool.
You know, I've sat here and listened
Ms. Langhart,
to
could I
you.
ask you to tip the microphone up? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sorry, everybody else is shorter.
Thank you.
You know, I've been watching emails. I've been talking. I have been an active member of the school district for 31 years, starting with the day we moved here. And whether I like it or not, I've been sitting on more bleachers for 31 years than you can count. I wasn't going to say anything. I wasn't going to be part of this. And then something happened. I was here at a girls' basketball game and came out immediately following and found out that teachers were dismissed. My expectations, and I apologize because it was an assumption, was that this board would stand up and applaud the teachers that gave us a green after 2 years of total dysfunction within our school district that was well beyond their control. I just, you know, we had a mother that had to be in a hospital with a young child. I walked into a house with a second grader who was on Zoom during the pandemic, and I hear this voice, "Aw, Kason, please, we love your face. We don't want to teach your foot." Right now, I have 2 in high school here, 1 in middle school, 1 at Gateway, and 2 in Merritt. And I absolutely think that all of them are doing real well. My first grandson took 4 full ride scholarships from Woodland Park. He is now an engineer. He's 24 years old, graduated. We have 2 that are still trying to figure out what they're doing when they grow up. And then my senior here now has 3 scholarships. I'm not white collar, I'm blue collar. Their parents are blue collar. We're just plain old people that believe in our school district. Now, to get to the point where I really felt I had to speak, I took my 4-year-old to Gateway. And there was a grandmother standing there in tears. And please fact check me. Standing there in tears. She had a 5-year-old that she'd just gotten custody of. And then she got a 4-year-old. The court ordered that that child had to be in school or she was going to be taken away. And maybe foster care is good, maybe it's not, I don't know. Because there was no room at the proverbial inn. Our school system has not addressed, and you as a board have not addressed, the fact that we have 1 preschool and half the school district is in Divide and Florissant. And there's no room at the inn. We're turning people away. We're talking low population. I've heard, oh, well, the high school's only a little over half full. The middle school's only half full. That isn't what it is, guys. It's taking care of our children. And, you know, I've heard Democratic and liberal and Republican. Guess what? I'm a Democrat. until there's an issue, and then I'm a Republican. Okay? I'm a teacher. I taught the GED math program up here for 3.5 years. I'm an educator. I started or helped start Colorado Mountain College in Jackson County. But right now, I'm a grandmother, and I love the fact that we have choice.
1 minute.
What my biggest problem is I do not like political divisiveness within the board. I don't think we need that. We need to hear our teachers, we need to hear our children, and you really need to look. And the other thing is, I haven't heard, and I've listened to my heart, I haven't heard the board say, we need a financial feasibility program before we admit merit. Can we afford it? How are we going to afford it? Where, what is the future? I heard summit program, 10 years, they might charge us. That's not the problem. The problem is Merit has a school right now. Maybe it's not the best one, but I think the board needs to sit down and make sure that they are qualified to be part of our school district. And we need more preschools. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie Larson on standards-based grading, and then we will shift to the merit discussion, and I'll announce speakers for the merit discussion.
That's great.
This thing is almost as tall as me.
I'm going to let you pull that microphone. Thank you. Or anybody that can help. That would be great.
Thank you.
I can't see you.
Hello, my name is Katie Larson, and I'm a junior at Woodland Park High School. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to the board, faculty, and parents. I'm here to talk about the standard-based grading system that Woodland Park High School uses. In very simple terms, standard-based grading uses a number system from 1 to 4 instead of the traditional A, B, C, D, F grading system. 1 is the worst grade a student can achieve, and 4 is the best. Each class has standards for learning that the student must pass by scoring a 2 or above. It seems simple enough, right? This system is far from simple. The principal and many teachers suggest that students dislike standard-based grading because it is harder to get an A. Although that is true, it is a complete misinterpretation of my personal negative experience with standard-based grading. The fact that it is considerably more difficult, maybe even impossible, to get A's is just the tip of the iceberg. The principal told us that several parents of students that had graduated from Woodland Park had done poorly in college. The parents blamed the school for misrepresenting the students' performance with undeserved high grades. Assuming what he told us is true, are the current students paying the price for students who no longer attend school here? The administration claims that the purpose of standard-based grading is to ensure that students' grades accurately reflect their academic abilities and will accurately predict their SAT scores. Although this is a reasonable goal, it is one-dimensional and short-sighted. Is the purpose of a high school education purely to score well on the SAT? Are we being educated or trained to pass a test? If you taught me how to pass a driving test without any other instruction, I could pass the test and get my license, but would I be safe on the highway? No. I'd like to point out just a few concerns I have about the standard-based grading system. Traditional grading averages about 30 passing scores, from 70 to 100. That is a wide range to rate performance. Standard-based grading averages 5 points, from 2 to 4. There is a very small passing percentage. Standard-based grading only focuses on assessments. This gives students even more unnecessary test-related anxiety and stress than they already have. There are several required assignments that are given that no grade or credit is rewarded with. It's difficult to find motivation to complete assignments that don't count toward my grade. Once, I asked a teacher here why we are given assignments that will ultimately not be graded. They replied, "I have a life. I have 7 other classes. Only the last 2 recorded scores count toward your final grade. If you did well the entire semester but struggled with the last unit, none of the previous work matters. It's just a placeholder until the final grades are put in." I am unaware of my actual percentage grade in most of my classes. The only class in which I know my percentage is an online program, and even then, the grade is converted to standard-based when it's put into the gradebook. In my core classes, all I know is that I have a 1.75 in sociology and a 2 in chemistry. One graded assignment can make a huge difference in your overall grade. I appreciate the fact that the administrators are willing to try new things in pursuit of doing better, but I would ask, does standard-based grading actually assist in providing a better education for the students of Woodland Park High School, or does it just look good on paper? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lawson. And again, regardless of the subject, thank you very much for taking the time as a student to step up. And I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, in keeping with our pursuit of 20 minutes, there are almost 2 hours of merit conversations, which is going to be limited to 20 minutes. So I apologize, members on this list, if you weren't early in the meeting to sign up. We are simply taking the first 5 individuals and trying to keep that to 20 minutes. So let me list the 5 individuals, if those folks could be ready. And then other individuals whose names are not called on this topic, if you could please communicate with the board either email or another way. Again, just trying to keep the meeting moving this evening. Kristen Tourette, and I apologize, I can't read it very well. Thank you. Zoe Pamela, Jonathan Wright, Whitney Rubio, and Samantha Peck. So we're going to first hear from Kristen this evening. And I'm so sorry about your last name. Okay.
It's French.
Thank you.
Easy one. My mom still pronounces it wrong. My name is Kristen Tarot. I am a full-time parent and a Teller County taxpayer. And I wanted to address you tonight and tell you thank you for your service. And I'd just like to tell the teachers, I'm so sorry there's so much animosity. We support you and we appreciate you. So to start off, I'd like to just go through why when we moved to Woodland Park, my husband and I already knew that we may have issues in finding education for our children. We weren't super apt to like the public school systems, and our children were still very young, and we realized there weren't a lot of options at that time. But we decided we'd figure it out. We signed them up for the Lake George Charter School, and many of the reasons we did that were because of class size, curriculum, culture, and sexual education that are many times dictated by the state. Both my husband and I also had issues in school because I overexcelled and he underexcelled. Traditional school systems didn't necessarily cater to our needs. I missed a lot and he got left behind a lot. So we were looking for something that would be more individual based. We wanted control over our kids' education, and we wanted to ensure that they had a rigorous academic curriculum as well as opportunities for plenty of extracurriculars. We realized that it was going to be a challenge, so then we signed up for Lake George with Vanguard and Springs as our second choice. For various reasons and all the pandemic and all of that, those options no longer worked when our child went into kindergarten. We went ahead and started talking to community members about their experiences. We do have some family members that were in the Woodland Park School District, and there were a few things that concerned me. First, I came to a play to watch my niece. She was in Mamma Mia. For those of you that don't know, the premise of that play is there's a woman that slept with 3 men, and she doesn't know who the father of the child was. So that was the premise of the play. We came to watch. I was somewhat appalled, not knowing what it was about, that high schoolers were doing this, and that the elementary school, Gateway, was invited. There were little elementary school kids sitting behind me listening to this, probably without a realization of what was actually happening in the play, but completely inappropriate altogether. Another reason was the second and third grade combination class that my niece was a part of. In second grade, it was great for her, and she loved school. In third grade, not so much. She became bored. She no longer liked school. She was no longer challenged. And they were reviewing first grade work, especially during the pandemic. They were reviewing first grade work with her. She was in third grade and she read at like a sixth grade reading level. So she was being left behind. She began to hate school, and this girl loved school prior. I was on the fence, but I began speaking with parents and other community members, and we were ushered towards Summit due to the great reputation they had, and lots of parents that spoke very highly of it. When we signed our child up and were ready to go, I called his teacher and I wanted to meet her. I wanted to tour the school. I wanted to see the building. This was he's in first grade now, so last year. I wasn't afforded a chance to meet a teacher except over Zoom. I was not afforded a chance to tour the building that my child would be in. I was not afforded a chance to talk to the principal face to face. It was very difficult, and we decided that we were going to homeschool. I would not send my child to people that I had never met or a building that I had never been in, that I can't see the posters on the wall, I can't see where he sits, and those types of things.
1 minute.
That was difficult. Enter merit. We found out merit was being implemented and that it was looking promising. So I went ahead and started looking into it. I was happy with the curriculum. It's a classical curriculum that is vigorous. And more importantly, I was impressed with their focus on teaching, developing, and putting to work core values of valor, responsibility, perseverance, goodness, and friendship. Merit's website reads, "Moral character is the cornerstone of educational model. In order to properly reason and make the best decision, one must be able to discern what is good, beautiful, and true. Virtues requires a trained mind and a benevolent heart, uniting our ability to reason with our passions." I couldn't agree more, and I'm so grateful that Merit's values mirror our own. I believe that culture should be taught at home, but virtues need to be reinforced in the classroom. Reinforcing these virtues, positive character development, and building confidence and becoming productive, respectful citizens is something that is hard to teach, and children need many examples, especially in a society that teaches them very opposite. Merit provides these examples, as I know many and most in Woodland Park School District do as well.
Time.
I just want to say I appreciate your support of Merit, and I encourage it, and thank you very much for all you're doing for that.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Zoe Pamela, Jonathan Wright, and then Whitney Rubio. This chair is terrible. Sorry, it's broken.
Hello, my name is Zoe Pamilia. Yeah, that makes sense. I am a sixth grade student at Merit Academy. I just wanted to come up and attest to all the wonderful things that Merit Academy parents and supporters are saying. As a student, I can say with full confidence how much I love Merit. This school has given me so many new opportunities to learn and grow. Me and my family had a choice, and we chose a new approach at education. While I'm up here, I also would like to thank all my teachers at Summit Elementary, a school I and my family loved very much. I would like to thank the Merit families and supporters for being here today. And finally, I would like to thank the Merit Academy School Board, who showed goodness and friendship to the community through this process, who showed valor while starting a new school with very little funding, who persevered while dealing with all the people who didn't believe in them, and who showed respect to those people when all the non-believers were anything but respectful to them. Thank you for everything you've done for me and my little sister. And to the board I'm standing in front of now, thank you for taking the time to listen to me tonight.
And thank you, Zoe, for braving it, the big stage, and coming up here and doing that. Very much appreciate it. And you've given some of extra time to the 20 minutes. So we've got Jonathan Wright, Whitney Rubio, and then Samantha Peck will be added.
Good evening, board members. My name is Jonathan Wright, and I'm here tonight to voice my support for the school board, Woodland Park School District, the teachers, and Merritt Academy. I've lived in Teller County for 18 years, and I currently have 3 children in the school district. I know that all of you on this board are similarly invested in this community and are likewise dedicated to the core values of Woodland Park School District, those being respect, ownership, achievement, and relationships. I feel that these core values are under attack by many within the school district apparatus, including activist educators, teachers unions, and school district staff members. Where is the mutual respect when parents and community members are being disregarded, insulted, and in some cases silenced by the school district employees who shirk their duties in favor of misguided political agendas? Where is our ownership if we succumb to the bullying tactics of unions and activists? How can there be achievement when these same so-called educators and their allies attempt to obfuscate and stonewall our elected officials at every turn? What happens to our relationships when only one faction is participating in the rebuilding of our local school system? The opposition to our newly elected school board represents nothing short of power plays by adversarial holdouts who do not wish to relinquish control over a system they are responsible for weakening in the first place. These values I mentioned cannot be sustained in our students, our children, when some of our Woodland Park School District family are being segregated, discriminated against, and bullied by local activists because of their personal values and beliefs. We cannot move forward and rebuild if the school district is divided between the leadership, who is currently representing the parents of the students, and the classroom, some of whom are activists and political ideologues. The answer to these problems for many of us is to create something new. What I'm talking about is Merritt Academy. Those of us involved with the new school see our actions as taking responsibility for our community and our children. And Merritt Academy is doing well because of the tremendous support it has received from this community. Local families, churches, and businesses have made this new school a possibility through direct action and with very little support from the official Woodland Park School District. I feel that Merritt Academy has earned the support of the community and the school district. So I'm calling on the school board to pursue an even more active support of Merritt Academy by providing space for the new school and its students to thrive. And I thank the school board for their actions they have already taken towards this end. Thank you for supporting school choice, and thank you for standing with parents.
Thank you very much.
Jonathan Wright, thank you for letting me move you around on the agenda. I'm sorry for any kind of mistiming on that. We have Whitney Rubio and then Samantha Peck. Thank you, Ms. Rubio.
Good evening, everyone in attendance. We are very involved as volunteers at our kids' elementary. We have coached youth baseball and football in the county, and my husband was a den leader for the Boy Scouts Troop 9200. My husband is a retired combat veteran, and we run a small business in the city of Woodland Park and Teller County. We are here today to express our thoughts and concerns about the proposed changes happening within the school district. My main concern is Merritt Academy's application for facility use. After receiving the notice that the district would lease part of the middle school for Merritt Academy, the board and superintendent expressed confidence that they can still fulfill the needs of the district's middle school staff and students. To this, I question, how can shutting down a part of the middle school to its current and incoming students and staff benefit them? That would mean combining classrooms to make for larger class sizes, which would directly put strain on teachers and students in their learning environments. Currently, Woodland Park Middle School has a student-teacher ratio of 14, according to Colorado DOE, and the state average is 17. So you take away half the building space, where does that leave our student-teacher ratio, and consequently the state of our middle schoolers' learning environment? In addition, how can you assure us that with the expected growth from both schools that can keep up with student-teacher ratio and in compliance with Colorado's Class Size Reduction Act of 2000, which limits a middle school class size to 25 students. Besides that, any excessive student-teacher ratio is not the ideal or best learning environment for anyone. In addition, daily operations would be greatly impacted. Some include staff parking, student pickup drop-offs, buses, local traffic through residential streets. Then it poses the question, should there be a town hall to set up to speak with community members and residents that will be impacted through these changes around the middle school? So with this, I would like to state that I am not in support of the facility usage of Woodland Park Middle School for Merit Academy, and that there needs to be more discussion of details of the facility usage and slow down these hasty decisions regarding building usage approval. To finish, I hope you gather that I am just a parent and a community member that just wants the students and faculty of our district to thrive and grow. This includes Merit Academy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will pass 2 minutes and 50 seconds, as well as the retaining minute from the previous speaker, on to the next. After Samantha Peck, the last person on merit would be Katie Illingworth.
Hello, my name is Samantha Kruper Peck. I'm a licensed broker in the state of Colorado, and therefore I understand legal and ethical obligations to be a responsible representative in our community. I sit on the Southern Colorado Women's Chamber of Commerce Board, and I lead their public policy. I sit on the Fire Foundation Board, and I lead the events committee. I'm an active member of the United Way Committee on their grant committees. I sit on the event committee for Homefront Care Network. I'm an ambassador for Mount Carmel. I'm an ambassador for the Greater Pueblo Chamber. I'm involved in the West Point Society of the Pikes Peak region. I'm a disabled vet. I served as an Army helicopter pilot. I'm a West Point graduate of 2004, and I got that by going to a public school. I'm an independent and a moderate and a swing voter because I believe it is about the character of the candidates, not their political affiliation. Above all of that, I am a mother of 3 Woodland Parks School District students, and I'm speaking today on behalf of a large group of parents in this community. I'm asking for your consideration in several topics we find crucial to the ongoing development of our community. I won't waste your time repeating things, but I want to second what the nice lady before me said and also what Aaron Connell said. Most of that takes up a vast amount of what I plan to say. We support our merit families. We want them to have an option. But their leadership's mistake in debt is not ours, and it should not fall on us. As taxpayers, as families of this community, we've invested a great deal of time, funding, and effort to create a phenomenal elementary school experience, a phenomenal middle school experience, and a phenomenal high school experience. And taking that away would be an injustice to our community. I have very deep concerns about the boxes merit checked to exempt themselves from things to share a building with our students. And even if you find ways to secure it, to develop it, to construct a division, what are you taking away from our students? A parent wrote me with concerns that if the 6th grade wing, for example, is used, our special needs students will lose a building with accessibility to wheelchairs and modest bathrooms for their needs. That is not something we as parents want to see in our district. In addition to these concerns, the manner at which you've gone about it makes us as parents feel that our children are not as valued as others. 190 students do not outvalue 1,800. To devalue one group for the betterment of a smaller group is not the American way. In addition, we are concerned that our teachers and administrators are being bullied and told to remain silent on their concerns. We want to create policies where the employees of this district have a voice. No one understands what our district needs more than the teachers serving our children. They should be treated as valuable resources with respect and admiration and have a seat at the table for collaboration. We do not want to be the next Douglas County. I assure you as a parent group, we will stand by our teachers no matter political affiliation. And just so you know, union or no union, my father was a union member with the coal mines and it kept him alive. So there are reasons for things. I have a deep concern for how the board is being managed. We feel policies and procedures are needed in order to make sure agendas are honest, meetings are staying true to what they are scheduled for, and that notes and documentation are thorough and paint a true picture of what is happening in our district. Secret agendas, hidden items is not how we as parents want our district to operate. Transparency and honesty should be a part of our values. We also have grave concerns about sharing of hired contractors to include lawyers and advisors. We understand the word legal and ethical are different, but we want our board to operate at the highest standard. And sharing these kinds of resources may not legally be a conflict of interest, but it sure seems like an ethical one. And you proved that on Saturday. Although we have a strong and healthy Christian population in our community, we are not the Bible college. We do not share those values. We want our children to be raised with perspective, respect, diversity, and appreciation for our history, and a free mind and will to learn and to develop. In my time in service, I've learned this world, few things are black and white. Few things are good versus evil. But I will tell you this, the leaders of our history books who are eternally seen as heroes chose service over power. Those leaders that we view as truly evil chose power over service. I'm asking you to put your personal relationships aside, both who you go to bed with figuratively and literally, and prioritize the job you need to do for our district. Make a choice to serve each student, each family, and each teacher with fairness and respect. We as a community will not settle for less. And as a voter, you will lose my vote.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Peck, and thank you for your service to our country. Very appreciated. Katie Illingworth. I'm looking at you, Mr. Illingworth, as if you would know where she was. Sorry. Thank you. And then after Katie, sorry, we've got Christina Chapman, student support and staff support, Bella Montgomery, and then Chris Chapman on the same topic. A letter to read for supporting students. Ma'am, I'm sorry to take your time.
Nope, you're good. Well, first off, my husband probably doesn't really want me to speak, but I think that well-behaved women rarely make history, so I'm going to go ahead and talk. Good evening, Woodland Park School District Board of Education and Dr. Neal. I also wear a lot of hats, and I've worn a lot of hats in my life. Tonight, I'm going to talk to you about my motherhood hat. I really appreciate this opportunity to share my story tonight. A little bit about me. I'm a proud mother of 5 beautiful children. One of those walks in heaven, and the rest of them are with us at home. But I'm specifically here to talk about my son, Davey. I share this story in the hope it sheds light on how differently children learn and how important it is to advocate for our kids who are different learners and/or special needs, and how important school choice is to them. Davey is our oldest son. I have been blessed to spend nearly every day of his life with him. He was a chunky, happy baby, and even today, he walks through the halls of his school with a big, toothy grin on his face. When he was a baby, the first time he laughed, I thought my heart would literally burst from the joy that he gave me. And I have never been the same since. As early as 6 months old, I recognized issues with Davey that weren't quote unquote normal, whatever that means. He wouldn't hold my gaze more than a couple of seconds. He couldn't pick up a Cheerio with his fingers. It took him over a year to crawl. He had lots of problems nursing. He was developmentally delayed in nearly every area. He didn't speak until after he was 3. That was with a lot of speech therapy and after we were told he would never talk. At 3.5 years old, he was diagnosed with autism, ADHD, and sensory processing issues. His school experience has had so many challenges. When he started preschool in Oklahoma, I picked him up from school every day because he had such a hard time with the noise and the craziness at recess. He couldn't attend after-school care because the director told me that they would not take him. He has never been able to sit still. He's 9 years old and was just able to really use a fork about 2 years ago, and that's after many years of therapy, including ABA. He even went through a season where he kept wanting to touch everyone's hair. Multiple parents complained to the school that year, including 2 parents who called him quote unquote crazy and creepy. My son has incredible gifts. He's very emotionally intuitive. He picks up on people's hurt and their sadness. He loves to hug, and he tries to figure out ways to connect with people. He never forgets a fact. Meet him once, tell him your birthday, and he will wish you happy birthday 4 years later. When we were in COVID quarantine, he decided to memorize all the landmarks in the world and draw detailed pictures of all of them, over 100. That was a 2-week project with no stop. Seeing the world through his eyes is a daily gift in my life. Other previous school experiences have not met his needs. He was in a combined 2nd and 3rd grade classroom. That could not have been worse for him. When I brought up those concerns, I was told that this is how it is. Earlier that year, when I tried to switch him from a 504 plan to an IEP, I was told that that was unnecessary because he's doing just fine. I had to fight to get him assessed. When he was assessed finally, he was assessed as either poor or severe in nearly all areas. He could not do a simple addition problem in 2nd grade or comprehend a single sentence that he read. I found research that a classical education is absolutely ideal for kids with high-functioning autism like Davy, and so I took a leap with Merit Academy. Our experience at Merit has proven that research correct. He is absolutely thriving. He is comfortable and he excels in his classes. He has an environment where he thrives and a curriculum that supports the unique way that his mind works.
1 minute.
Thank you. I love my son. I would do anything for him. Don't we all here in this room love all of our children? Can't we all agree on that one thing and work together as a community for all our children? It is so important for students like my son that we have school choice in our community. I truly believe that Merit Academy will pave the way for that. I hope that we can find ways as a community to come together and work for solutions for all of our children. I want to mention one thing too. I would highly recommend you guys review the Charter School Act, because that has specific provisions about how school districts don't take on debt of charter schools. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Katie.
We have Christina Chapman, Bella Montgomery, Chris Chapman, and last of the evening will be Beth Huber on strategic planning.
Thank you. I wasn't planning to speak at all during this whole process. I was sitting back and watching. I wasn't going to speak at all. I feel like I need to today. As a 6th grade teacher, I'm a mentor to 19 children, 19 of our community children. That's 19 families besides my own. I've put 3 children through the school district. My youngest is graduating this year. Of those 19 children, I had a mentor meeting this morning with one of them. This mentor meeting lasted 40 minutes. This child needed that time. They needed that time to tell me they had experienced teasing and meanness from their friends, from their people they go to school with, from the rest of their grade level. It's been experienced for a long time. They didn't want to say anything. There were tears in this 40 minutes. There were a lot of hugs. At the end of this 40 minutes, we talked about different ways this student could find their place in school, find their place with their peers, and not feel hurt all of the time. I thought about this most of the day as I was teaching my classes. As an educator, I'm a leader to my students. I did not feel that way today. I did not feel like a leader. I felt disingenuous. I felt like I was expecting a student to do something that I was afraid or not willing to do. As an educator, it's important to lead by example. I have not lied to my students or belittled my students. I've told them repeatedly I would never ask them to do something I am not willing to do. A leader has morality, integrity, and takes ownership of their actions and their beliefs. This is how I, or the rest of us in this classroom, no matter what school we teach at, lead. So I needed to speak up today. Educators are parents. Educators are coaches, teachers, all school staff. We lead our children and our community's children every day. My day doesn't end when I leave school. My schoolwork doesn't end when I leave school. I'm still correcting papers at home on my couch at 8 o'clock at night at my family's expense. For your children, the children of this community, as is every other teacher here. It doesn't matter where you work, what school district you live in, where your child goes to school. None of that matters. You are an educator. I respect and value each and every educator, not only in this room, but out there in the world, all parents that take on that burden, all staff, and I respect our school board. I respect the position held by the school board, but I do not currently respect the people that hold those positions. I've worn many hats in my lifetime. I've been in the military world, in the professional world, as well as in education. I have held positions in this city. I've been a parent for 23 years of my life. 3 of my children have been through this school district, 2 have not. I have experienced hostile work environments, none like this. The air is so toxic around the school buildings that children can feel it, and they do. Not inside it. You only feel it when you walk outside of it. It's pushing in. This may be an unintended consequence, but it is happening just the same. I chose to be a teacher. I chose to be a leader, an educator. I love my children and choose to love the children of this community, no matter where they go to school. I am there when they need someone. I am there when they have class. I am there for them. We all are. Teachers, parents, educators of any sort or any walk of life are selfless people and choose their profession.
1 minute.
I did not choose, and nobody in this room chose to be bullied, belittled, or feel unsupported by their school district. I did need to add one other thing, sorry. I was asked to, get on the right text here. I was asked to say a while ago, the WPEA asked school district staff for their input. You should have the results of the staff survey in front of you. Included with this survey is 7 simple asks to return to a healthy relationship between the staff and the Board of Education. These survey results will also be made public to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bella, can you get that mic? Is that all right? Thank you.
Sure. My name is Bella Montgomery, and I'm in the 6th grade.
Okay, step up just a little bit to the mic, almost like you're chewing on the mic. Go for it.
My name is Bella Montgomery, and I am in the 6th grade. I wanted to talk to you today about Merritt trying to move into our middle school. This is an opinion of a middle schooler because this will affect us greatly. I don't approve of this because this is our middle school and not Merritt's to move into. They will take up a lot of space in the middle school. And yes, the middle school is not at full capacity, but this will increase classroom size significantly.
We use the entire middle school and we don't have space for Merit to move into. Yes, we may have a few classrooms that are being unused, but that doesn't give Merit an excuse to move into the middle school. Merit has a perfectly good building that they haven't even used for a year. This affects our students and not just the teachers because they're the ones teaching with much bigger classroom sizes. My teachers are absolutely amazing. For example, Mrs. Schrolin. She is my mentor teacher, and she is a really good teacher because she has patience with other students that are struggling in class. And she's a really good language arts teacher. She taught us the Pledge of Allegiance and National Anthem in sign language. She puts a lot of work and effort into her classroom, but more importantly, she puts a lot of effort and work into the students she teaches. She makes us feel important. Mr. Schubert teaches us social studies. He says his main purpose is to make us feel like we are the greatest miracle in the world. Mrs. Garcia teaches band to all the students in the school. She helped 66 graders learn brand new instruments. That is not an easy thing to do, and she did a great job. She also has a lot of patience for our band class. Mrs. Goings and Mrs. Street will also be greatly affected by Merit because they are the head people of the middle school. They are super good at their job and they make everyone in the building feel welcome and special to the middle school. This is just a small example of teachers that will be greatly affected if Merit moves into the middle school. Please don't do this to our teachers and students. They don't deserve this. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me.
Thank you, Madeline.
That takes a lot of courage. Thank you.
Bella, I would also say I see a little bit of my daughter Jane in you. She's in a lot of your classes, and I didn't know all of those classes that you were together in, but I also can't imagine her staying up this late. So if you'd like to leave and go to bed, you're welcome to do so. Next, we have Chris Chapman, followed by Beth Huber.
Good evening. I have a letter here from senior at Woodland Park High School.
And I'm so sorry, but Bella lowered that microphone pretty low. Would you mind raising it?
Yeah, I have a letter here from a senior at Woodland Park High School. And I was going to read it for him because I promised that I would, but a lot of the issues that he brought up have already been addressed. So
yes, sir.
I'll, if I can just leave it with you. And also,
Kelly's going to both take notes and take the letter at the same time. So thank you.
sorry. So one of the things that I do at Fort Carson, I'm an engineer and a master planner. I looked at your facilities master plan. I have some concerns about some of the data in there and some of the calculations. And also I manage space at Fort Carson. So I have some concerns about the proposal to divide up the middle school where you'd have dedicated area for Summit, but also some shared space. And of course, the age group with the different organizations, you could have some negative consequences, in my opinion. So I think that really needs to be looked at. As far as, I did tour the school. Looks like it's already pretty full, either with active classrooms or storage space, special purpose space, common areas, breakout rooms, those kinds of things. So I just think that a little bit more work needs to go into that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Huber for the evening. And again, thank you to members of the community. We have more than an hour and a half additional public comments. And so those of you that were not able to speak this evening, please feel free to reach out in any way. You're welcome to join us at another board meeting. And I apologize, no intention of offending anybody this evening.
Thank you. After having the opportunity and pleasure of attending the board meeting last Saturday, I would ask the board to please reflect on these comments as you chart your course for the future. I am a Christian, and I disagree with some things said in this room in the name of Christ. I am a Republican and disagree about education with many Republicans in this room, as I am focused on this community, not Washington, D.C., or Denver, or anywhere else. I think one thing we can all agree on is the importance of truth. Today, the Courier ran a letter from Carol Greenstreet. In that letter, she pointed out the 30% decline in students in Cheyenne Mountain per the CDE website. After reading that letter, I learned that decline can be explained by a charter school moving from their district to Harrison School District. I feel it is important to clarify that assertion. Most professions have a professional organization that can be joined at a cost. Those organizations all provide education, lobby for, and provide legal assistance to their members. While I was once displeased with the state's organization's protection of an educator that we dismissed, my interactions with the WPEA have always been positive. During the meet and confer process, when working conditions were discussed, the local representatives have always been reasonable with high expectations of their members. While there may be a negative view of unions, our WPEA really functions as a professional association. The leaders of this group should be respected. The recently released emails demonstrate a high level of professionalism. I do not believe union membership, political party, or personal beliefs have anything to do with a person's value in God's eyes or their ability to teach. I do not want to rid this community of people who think differently than me. I do believe this community has trust issues with this Board of Education that are justified based on action. At the Board of Education meeting on January 12th, your attorney said Merit Academy's application could be as short as a couple of months. The process will be fully transparent with well-noticed public meetings and could not be entangled with a district facility location. 2 weeks later, you had a special meeting to vote on the MOU to charter Merit without any notification to the community. My friend inquired as to the reason for the special board meeting and for detail on board, quote unquote, board housekeeping. The night before the meeting, President Rusterholz informed my friend he did not know why it was a special board meeting and that they were going to discuss merit and curriculum. My friend expressed concern that the special board meeting could allow a vote. Still, she was not told of the plan to vote on the MOU. At the meeting, Director Austin did object to the vagueness of the agenda, and President Rusterholz did apologize the following night for the same. At the work session on 224, a citizens group encouraged you to agree a lease to own agreement with Merit for Columbine Elementary School. Merit Academy parents were informed of this meeting, but district parents were not. I believe Merit parents would feel the same anger if roles were reversed. Dr. Neal indicated it would not be appropriate to vote on this at the 3-9 meeting as the contract with Merit was not yet signed. Director Illingworth pushed to know when it would be appropriate. Director Illingworth also said at the December meeting in response to controversial subjects, parents can't request an exemption if they don't know what's coming. I believe this statement could be applied to your plans as a board. I was pleased to see the agenda published 48 hours before your work session Saturday. That way I could attend. Thank you very much. It is unfortunate that you held it in Black Forest, making it difficult again for parents to be informed. All candidates mention increased transparency and parent involvement in decision-making. You have had exactly one meeting with stakeholders. It was with pastors on January 18th. In the meetings I have attended, no plans have been made to meet with parent groups at the schools. While I agree taxpayers should be involved in schools, I think it is most important to hear from parents. As a parent and a taxpayer, I don't need to remind you of the cost to bring merit into the district, to charter them in our district, as people have already reminded you of that this evening. But I would like to remind you of my primary concern with merit, which is the lack of effort to serve our community as a whole. They choose not to serve a select demographic. This data was taken from the Colorado Department of Education website for free and reduced lunch students. That's my concern. That is the best indicator of serving our lowest socioeconomic population in our community. On Saturday, March 4th, it was taken this Saturday. Woodland Park School District serves 23.6 free and reduced lunch. The lowest in our district is 23.5, and that's Columbine. Gateway 23.9, Summit 32.6, Woodland Park Middle School 26.6, Woodland Park High School 25.5. Merit is on that list, and they do have a free and reduced lunch percentage. It is 0.7. I'll let that sit for just a second. I have heard truthfulness defined as earning future trust by accurately telling past facts. Based on Ephesians 4:25, therefore, having put away falsehood, let each of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. I believe as a nation, we have begun to look at truth loosely. If it furthers our own agenda, we scream it out. If it doesn't, we mute it. Our community must honor truth, as we are all impacted when we allow deception. Referring to one another as enemies and forging battle plans does not build community or create an environment for solving problems. I would appeal to this board now, as many already have: slow down, seek community input, listen, and learn. Make collaborative decisions with the parents and staff. Build trust. Thank you.